Hi, this is Rishu Sharma. I welcome you all to another new episode of Culinary Talks. Today I have a very special person with us today. He's a wonderful chef, a cookbook author, and a very talented photographer as well. Let's welcome Chef Michael Swamy. So Chef, first of all, thanks for your time.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So for our viewers, I would like to inform that Chef Michael Swamy is the main man behind lots of renowned cookery shows, including MasterChef India and many of the famous restaurant projects you may know about. So Chef, I would like to start from very beginning. Can you tell us something about your journey, how it has started, and when did you decided to become a chef?
So my journey started actually pretty young, when my mom used to make film documentaries, and I used to watch a lot of TV at that time, and I was hooked on to wanting to create food shows. And she said, why don't you become a chef first before you start making food shows? And so that wonderful journey of becoming a chef, at the same time working with her, creating documentaries. So I think both came together, both professions came together. So that's my journey.
That's a good story. And what was the first thing you ever cooked, and who it was for? Any memory of that, chef?
So growing up, one was coming home from school in the afternoons. I think one of the first few things I learned was how to make ice cream. Making kulfi, making ice cream, chocolate mint chip, desserts, simple desserts. These were some of the first dishes that I remember making. It was great fun making them, enjoyable. And I think that started me on the journey of wanting to create rather than just cooking.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is one of the most important aspects of, in process of becoming a chef. This is very important to look forward to create something rather, cooking. Yeah. So that's very interesting to know, chef. Yeah, so what kind of challenges you faced, I would like to know, and what did you love most about the food industry?
You keep meeting new people, you keep meeting guests, you meet new chefs, you're always working with a new team. So I think the fact that most chefs are very isolated people, they're not very friendly. And so when you're working with new teams and all, you start coming out of your comfort zone. You start talking to people, you start connecting with people, bonds start happening. And I think that's the best part of a journey of being a chef, is that you're talking to a lot of people, you're connecting with people. And that's the best part of being a chef.
Yes, that is very important for a chef, because they hardly have any social life apart from their work life. They get very...
There is no social life as such.
Yeah, so that is very important. You also has opened lots of restaurant projects in past. Any memorable project you like to talk about? And I would like to also ask you one question, that what would you suggest people if someone is looking forward to start a restaurant? Food industry and travel industry completely shattered. Our whole system collapsed completely. I have heard 5-star hotels are getting sold. The staff is getting laid off, so it is very bad to know. Since you have opened so many restaurant projects in past, so you might have an idea, what would you suggest people who are looking forward to start from scratch after this coronavirus situation gets over?
See, I've opened several restaurants in the past, and as you see restaurants closing, there's always someone else who wants to open a restaurant.
Yeah.
So I've already been getting queries about people who want to open restaurants with the new challenges in front of them. But the new challenges are going to be so expensive that I think people will have to take to chill a little bit. Because with the new hygiene situations, things like that, I think with half your table count, high rentals, it's going to be very challenging. A lot of restaurants have already shut down because they can't afford the rents of the malls. So these things are already falling into place. Restaurants and malls are refusing to open because of the high rentals. So
that's true.
So something which I've been saying for a long time is chefs have to multitask. For example, when I was in the UK, we were just 5 chefs in the kitchen doing a 90-seater cover restaurant.
Okay.
because the chefs did everything. You cleaned up after yourself, you cooked, you did your misa, you did everything. Whereas here we have one cook to just cut and chop the vegetables, while the main chef is only doing the cooking part of it. Okay? So those aspects will have to change. Where a chef will have to do the shopping, his own mise en place, as well as the cooking.
Yeah, because there will be less numbers of staff as well in the kitchen.
In the kitchen,
Yeah.
you can't have a 400 square feet kitchen with 15 staff members in it anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. Earlier, we used to have kitchens which were like 400 square feet. You have 10 and 15 staff in there, including the utility, about 20 people coming and going. Now that's going to change. You're going to just have 5 to 6 people in your kitchen. How do you manage it? Your menus are going to have to change.
Correct.
Okay. Drastically. We used to have 200 dishes on a menu, 100 dishes on a menu. That is going to come down to, say, 50 dishes on a menu, maybe even 25 dishes on a menu.
Yeah.
So people are going to come now only for experiential dining. One thing. On the second side, you have got 50% of the public who are without jobs right now. They've been laid off.
Yes.
So they are not going to be visiting your restaurants for a long time to come.
Yeah, of
So
course.
the whole scenario is going to change.
Yeah.
So you can run your restaurant, but you need to have people coming to your restaurant. If
Yes,
they are
definitely.
broke and without jobs, how are they going to come to your restaurant?
Yeah. So what do you think? There's something we need to change in the business model about the restaurant. Like there will be more delivery kitchen we'll be seeing in future.
You will be seeing a lot of delivery kitchens. You will be seeing a lot of independent people cooking from home and delivering food.
Yes.
These things are going to happen because the overheads are less. Their margins will be less, but at least they're still earning a living. Okay, so that's going to happen right now.
So we are in such a difficult time. I think it will be a completely different world when everything will get over. I mean, for the restaurants at least, for the restaurant industry. Yeah.
It's going to be a huge change.
Yes. So, yeah, I mean, let's see. You have also wrote cookery books. I would like to know about them, and so which all books you have written so far?
So I've written the East Indian Kitchen. I've written Masala Dabba, which is the latest book.
Okay.
I've done comfort food. I've done several cookbooks for various chefs and various food people.
Okay.
I've done cookbooks for them. I've done cookbooks for corporates, for equipment manufacturers, things like that.
All right.
And that sphere of the world will never change because the demand for digital content is still going to be there.
Yeah, of course, definitely.
And I've been talking to a lot of chefs to telling them to change their way of thinking.
Yes.
Because the digital platform is so big that there is space for everyone.
And I think, in the food part, if we'll talk about the recipe part, recipe content and the food, I feel sometimes that there is a huge vacuum right now. I think this is the best time to enter into this space.
Yes, there is.
There is a need to fill up that, vacuum space right now. And I think we will be seeing a lot of food contents coming on our way in future.
And I'm glad that it is going to be chefs giving the food content.
Yes.
Because, chefs are knowledgeable about food content.
Correct.
Some TV anchor who is doing a food show but has done no research on the dish.
Yes.
Chefs know their food.
Exactly. So on this note, I would like to share one thing with you. I feel so sad about chefs that, it's not like any other professions. Like you take doctors, you take engineers. So for suppose if you have to start a clinic, like a medical clinic, you need to have a doctorate degrees, right? Otherwise you cannot start a clinic or anything. But in restaurant industry, there's nothing like that. So, I mean, this is like really sad part of our industry. And similarly, this thing needs to be,
It needs to be addressed. The question needs to be addressed.
Yes.
And I think only chefs can demand it. Because chefs need to bring about that change and say that enough is enough. We have studied, we are knowledgeable on the subject. Let us
and
showcase our work.
lots of hard work goes into that. To become a chef is not an easy process, right?
Absolutely.
You have to go through a lot. Like it's years of practice, years of hard work. Then
Right.
you can call yourself a legitimate chef. And
Right.
on the other hand, there are people who are doing it without any research, without any prior experience in the field, and yeah, they are calling themselves chefs. So that is really sad. At this point of your career, when you're successful in your craft, chef, is there anything you still find challenging, and what according to you is the most challenging part of being a chef in general?
It's the most challenging part is handling and dealing with your staff, because trying to get your staff to stay on top of the game, because they too tend to get lax. They too tend to they want to quit a job just for 500 rupees more somewhere else. So how do you keep them entertained? How do you keep them motivated? That is the biggest challenge at all times. And that is the time when, at least on my part, I used to tell them, you create a dish and I'm going to put it on the menu. You create something, I'm putting it on the menu. And I let the guests even know that it's my sous chef's dish. Or I let the guests know one of my CDPs have created it.
Yeah.
To let people know, so they feel motivated, they feel happy about it.
Yeah.
You have to bring them also into the limelight.
Of course,
At the end of the day, they are the ones working that 18-hour shift, So give them due credit.
Yeah, that's very important as well. To build their confidence, it's very important to, encourage.
It's very important.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, not a lot of people are doing this, but yeah, change is coming. I can see that. I've been a lot of restaurants recently where, CDPs are coming and meeting the guests, dealing with the guests. So yeah, change is coming.
I had the South American restaurant in Delhi, and I used to make sure my chefs took the dish out to the table. I should not let the service staff take it. Let my chef, every day one chef had to go out and serve the guests. So he also got a little bit motivated. He also got challenged.
Yes.
He was happy that I have created this dish and I'm offering it to the guests.
Yeah. So, and that sense of pride when you feel that it's like you cannot describe that feeling in the words. I think that's the most wonderful feeling. Yeah. That's the most wonderful feeling to be praised by your guest about food, the compliments you get after your guest finishes your food. So yeah, it's very important to have that kind of feeling in your early stage of your career. So yes, and so yeah, chef, you have worked with many leading cooking shows in past and have executed many cooking competitions. So what kind of challenges you face there? What guidance you will give to the aspiring chefs who wants to make their career in this field? Because time is changing. It's no more working in a restaurant for the lots of new students who are looking forward to join this field as a career. So yes.
So I've been working with a lot of students at the moment. They're all worried about no jobs, about no this. They're not going to be able to get jobs right now.
Yeah.
So I've been actually grooming them to start their own blogs, to start learning how to write a recipe, how to present themselves on camera, how to be articulate. This current scenario has also, you've seen a lot of chefs putting their own videos on Instagram, things like that. And I don't want to put them down, but they've done no research whatsoever on how to present themselves, how to be audible, how to make my food look good.
Correct.
Because the minute my presentation is bad, people are going to be put off. I'd rather someone do a brilliant job than do a half-hearted job, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
So I still feel that our chefs need a lot of grooming. They need a lot of training and presenting themselves, putting their dishes out there.
Correct.
How do you face a camera? So even on the food shows, I should teach the contestants how to hold a plate, how to hold a knife. Your hands are not always blocking the camera. Your body is not blocking the camera. Your food is the hero. How is the food facing the camera to look like? So all these nuances I have to teach these TV contestants, as I call them.
Okay.
Yeah. And but like I always say, being on TV doesn't make you a chef. Being
Of
on
course.
TV doesn't make you a master chef.
Yeah.
See, it's a TV show. It's not being accredited by a chef body. You've
Yeah.
not been given the title by a chef body.
There's
It's a
no
TV show,
credibility.
but absolutely no credibility.
Yeah.
So, and so chefs need to also, real chefs need to stand up to this fact and
Yeah.
say, we have the credentials, let us showcase our work. Let us be the brand ambassadors for our company. And that's when you start making money. That's when you start making a name for yourself.
Yes. But I think that is that is changing, chef. I mean,
It is changing now.
yes.
It is changing now.
Now you
But
are
it's
seeing lots of professional chefs coming up front, and brands are endorsing them, and so yeah, it's
absolutely.
good to see this kind of things happening around.
I'm happy about it.
Yes. So, chef, one more very interesting thing about you is your photography talent. Like, you're a very good photographer, since you said that it came from your mother. And I've seen some of your pictures. I must say they were wonderful. So, I mean, how did this thing develop? And what is the most like photographs you'd like to take? Is it a wildlife photography or a food photography?
I think it's a mix of both.
Okay.
And I've always been into wildlife photography, and I think now it's taking over more than the food actually. Over the past 3-4 years, I've been going more into wildlife photography because it's just that I wanted to do something different. I wanted to challenge myself somewhere else in another sphere of work, and I've been doing mostly my own projects with food photography and food books and stuff. I've not been doing so much of client work of late. So it's given me more time, and one of my biggest clients is Pagdandi Safaris, where I work with them in Madhya Pradesh, and I'm always surrounded with wildlife over there. And so it's been a good mix. I'm there for almost 4 months of the year. And so by default, I'm early in the morning photographing the wildlife, and then I'm working. It's a mix of both professions.
So yeah, I mean, wildlife photography, that sounds very fascinating, chef, I must say. Yes. So yeah, so one last thing I would like to ask that there are a lot of aspiring chefs keep on asking about the career advice. I think that would be good if that would be coming from established chef like you. So what career advice for aspiring chefs?
I always tell, if you have a game plan or you have a dream, stick with it. But at the same time, have a dual profession on the side. Because if you have a dual profession on the side or a dual talent on the side, it helps you in your main profession. Like photography helped me with my chef work. When a client would say, I can't afford a food photographer, or I need to do a one-dish shoot for a menu card. So then I always had my camera with me. So I would shoot it. If you hire a photographer, it's an X amount. Just to shoot one dish to bring him in and all that, there's no point.
Yeah, actually.
So because of budget constraints, a lot of restaurants have budget constraints. So what happened was my other talent became part of my prime job, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So as we created a dish or as we were doing food trials, we were also photographing it on the side. So I didn't have to hire a separate photographer.
That's very nice, chef. I mean, this is good. I mean, if the photographers and the hefty amount they charges, and on top of that, they don't have much knowledge about food, because you know, as being a chef, you know how you're going to sell your food and how it should look in your final photographs. So yeah, that's good to have additional talent on side of photography.
So I tell my students, I tell everyone, have a second talent, whether it's writing, whether it's singing. I have a cousin of mine who's a singing chef.
Wow.
So he sings, So he sings in between every now and then in his restaurant. I've got another chef who's a brilliant writer. So his talent is also writing. He writes beautiful blogs at the same time as he's cooking in the kitchen. So Now that blog has made him, what do they call them? Influencer.
Okay.
So besides being a chef, he's also an influencer on social media.
Wow.
So so that's what I've been telling chefs. I've been telling youngsters, you have to have a dual talent. Or, if you have to succeed, you've got so many chefs passing out of college every year. They are your competition every year.
Yeah.
So what's unique about you?
And everybody is cooking. Everybody's gonna cook.
Everyone's cooking.
Everybody is gonna be in the kitchen, yeah.
So you need something that
makes you stand out.
Makes you unique, stand out of the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So nice. That's actually very good advice for the aspiring chefs. Yeah. So that one they can have. So yes, chef, it was my pleasure to have you on this show, and I hope everything gets back on the normal track, and we'll meet personally soon.
We will meet in person soon, and such a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, same here, chef, and very all the best for all your future. Thank you once again for coming on this show. Thank you so much.
And we'll catch up soon, as soon as all of this is over.
Sure, chef. Thank you, chef.
Take care.